All right, let's talk about wealth. When you think about getting rich, what's the first number that pops into your head? $1 million? Maybe a solid six-figure salary? Well, you know what? All those financial gurus, they're kind of missing the point. There's a much, much smaller number that's way more important. It's a milestone that totally changes your relationship with money, and once you hit it, believe me, everything changes.
We've all been there, right? That little jolt of anxiety right before you open your banking app. You're just hoping it's not as bad as you think it is. You're doing the mental math. Can I afford this coffee, or are groceries going to mean it's ramen for the rest of the week? But what if you could just make that feeling go away?
See, there's this invisible line. On one side, you're just trying to survive. On the other side, you're actually starting to grow. And crossing that line, breaking through that barrier, it changes the entire game of personal finance. It's the point where you stop just treading water and you start building a real future.
And that number is $20,000. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That might sound like a whole lot of money, or maybe you're thinking it's not nearly enough. But trust me on this. This is the first major threshold that separates the people who will build serious wealth from those who are going to spend their whole lives just stuck on that paycheck-to-paycheck treadmill.
So, what is the big deal with this number? What's so special about it? Well, it's not just about the money itself. It's really about the momentum you have to build just to get there. I want you to think about it like this. Imagine you are pushing this giant, heavy boulder up a really steep hill. Getting it moving is just agony, right? You're sweating, you're straining, you feel like you're barely making any progress. But once you build up that momentum and you finally get to the top of that hill, that $20,000 peak, that boulder starts rolling down the other side. And suddenly, it feels almost effortless. Everything before was a fight. Everything after feels like gravity is finally on your team.
But you know, the biggest change here isn't even mathematical. It's psychological. The real magic of hitting this number happens inside your brain.
When you have little to no savings, your brain is basically in what psychologists call survival mode. It's just consumed by fear. Every single decision you make is reactive. I mean, you can't think about growing an orchard when your house is on fire, right? But once you cross that $20,000 line, your mental bandwidth, it just frees up. You switch from asking, how do I survive this week, to, how can I grow this? And hey, this isn't just a feeling. There's real data to back this up. Research from Vanguard actually shows that having just $2,000 in savings boosts your feeling of financial well-being by a massive 21%. Now, when you push that up to around $20,000, which is about 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, you get another huge leap. You've created enough breathing room for your brain to finally stop panicking and start planning.
Okay, so let's look at how this builds, because this is where the math gets really, really exciting. Remember that boulder we talked about? Well, it doesn't just roll downhill, it starts picking up some serious speed.
Now, what's so wild about this is just the acceleration. Let's say you're saving $1,000 a month. Your first 20 grand takes you about 19 months. It's a grind. But your second 20 grand, that only takes 17 months. And then, get this, by the time you have $400,000 invested, you can generate another $20,000 in just 5 months. You're doing the same work, but you're getting there faster and faster and faster.
That, my friends, is the power of compound interest finally kicking into high gear. Your money starts doing more and more of the heavy lifting for you. You're putting in the same monthly contribution, using the same strategy, but now you have this little army of dollars working alongside you 24/7.
So how do you actually get there? Well, you build the habit. It's simple, but it's not easy. First, you have to track your spending. You need to know where every single dollar is going. Second, you learn to say no to the little wants right now for a much bigger reward later on. And finally, you automate your savings so it just happens without you even thinking about it. Being consistent with this isn't just about saving money. It's about proving to yourself that you are the one in control.
But this financial foundation you've built, it does way more than just grow your bank account. It completely transforms your relationship with your job. This is what I like to call walking away money. It's a buffer. It's a safety net that gives you the freedom to leave a bad situation. Think about it. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, your employer holds all the cards. But with 20 grand in the bank, the power dynamic shifts dramatically. You're no longer negotiating from a place of desperation. Just having this money changes how you carry yourself. You become more confident, more assertive. You can finally walk in and ask for that raise you know you deserve, because the worst they can say is no, and you'll be fine. You can take calculated risks with your career. And you know what?
That kind of confidence, that proactivity, it attracts better assignments, more recognition, and yeah, more money. It becomes this amazing positive feedback loop.
But here's where so many people go so wrong. They hit this incredible milestone, they feel that sense of security for the first time, and then they immediately make a mistake that sends them right back to square one.
So you've done it. You've been disciplined, you've sacrificed, you've finally built your foundation, and the temptation is to reward yourself with something big, right? Like a brand new car. It feels like you've earned it, but I'm telling you, this is the most dangerous moment in your financial life.
A new car is basically a wealth-destroying machine. A $30,000 car loses about 20% of its value the second you drive it off the lot. That's a $6,000 loss in minutes. But the real cost, the truly painful cost, is the opportunity cost. That same 30 grand, if you had invested it, could grow to over $200,000 in 20 years. That car isn't just costing you 30 grand, it's costing you your future freedom.
And this right here is the critical mindset shift. That $20,000 foundation teaches you to stop asking, can I afford the monthly payment? And start asking, what is this purchase truly costing my future self? All of a sudden, driving a reliable used car doesn't feel like a sacrifice anymore. It feels like a brilliant strategic choice.
So the whole point is this. $20,000 isn't just money. It's the difference between reacting to whatever life throws at you and having the power to actually design the life you want. It's the first and honestly the most important step towards real financial freedom. Your future self is counting on the decisions you're making today.